Man, this Georgia woman is wanted for murder after graduating with honors. Shorty, tap in.
Investigators still working a triple homicide that happened in an East Macon neighborhood over the weekend.
Two guns found on the scene and two brothers are dead. A 16-year-old also died Saturday night around 11 on East William Street.
Good evening and thanks for joining us. I'm Maggie Fitzgerald. New tonight, neighbors in East Macon described the moment they heard dozens of gunshots ring out Saturday night. Witnesses tell us the gunfire sounded like an automatic weapon. Some say they heard two separate rounds of shots about an hour apart.
I thought maybe it was some firecrackers or something because it said pow, 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 pow. And I'm like, what in the world? And about an hour or so later, he did the same thing. Pow, pow, pow. Kind of scary because the bullets ain't got no name or they can come to anybody's apartment or anyone and shoot, hurt them. You know, it's sad.
Yeah.
When you get people...
It's so sad, bro. And it's crazy because most of these people don't even be knowing what the sound of gunfire is. They be thinking, oh, someone's just shooting fireworks. You know? Wait, not thinking. Because anytime I hear something like that, I think the worst. You always got to think the worst in this life because it's crazy. When you think you got... But sometimes... It depends. It depends. You got to think the worst sometimes, though.
Together, willing to share, the world gets awfully small. And that's when we're able to close cases and make arrests.
How, whether it be a gun buyback program, something we've got to do here in Macon to make sure we get the number of guns off the street.
District 3 Commissioner Stanley Stewart says the violence is tearing apart the community and is calling on churches and schools to take action to end the cycle. He says the threat is coming from within the community, not outside.
We got Crime Stopper signs out. We've had them out since April. This area had an issue back then. We go out to where the action is taking place, make contact, and try to do what we can to put people together.
Now imagine this, fam. You're in a small Georgia neighborhood on a quiet night. Crickets chirping, porch lights on, kids inside. Then suddenly, over 50 shots get let off. You quickly find out 3 young men end up losing their lives.
Wow.
And a couple days later, police say the only person tied to it as of yet is a 21-year-old woman who just graduated with honors.
Come on, shorty, bro. What be wrong with y'all females trying to be... Like, bro, what is y'all doing? This is crazy. You just threw your life away for what?
And all across town, they talking about it. How she go from classroom excellence to cold case suspect. Not for 1 murder, not for 2, but for 3. Was she set up? Did she know too much? Or did she really have a hand in what went down that night? Well, in this video, we're going to try our best to find out. According to all public records, we're going to try to break down everything. The victims, the connection, and how I want to make its most shocking cases. Might have just exploded something deeper in Bibb County. But before we go over this one, I want you guys to remember, I don't give you no angle. I just give you the story. So with that being said, make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. We're going to jump right to it. Now let's start this video off with some facts. We know victims' families are angry, and they got every right to be. But now it's gotten to the point, because of the information being shared online, that even the suspects themselves might allegedly want this young girl gone, simply because of what she knows. So now you got 2 sides of the community. Some praying she's alive, and others praying she's caught, all in the name of justice. And at 21 years old, this young woman is in what you call a lose-lose situation. And the crazy part is this: when or if she is apprehended, authorities already believe more arrests is likely to come. But before
Yeah, it got to be, bro. She's the only one, bro. And they said it was like 3 boys. 3 dudes is crazy. I feel like, I don't know. We got to see the story, because why she killed 3 dudes? Unless they was trying to do something to her. You know? We need the actual story. The only reason I laugh, bro, because did y'all see that lady, that girl mouth, bro? This girl right here, bro, I started crying. That was some funny shit. I ain't go back.
we dive into the full details of this case, who was involved, and what allegedly happened, and how investigators say this was part of a retaliation shooting. Without giving too much detail, let's talk about Macon, Georgia first itself. The crime, the history, and some quick facts about the city. Now, when you hear the name Macon, Georgia, most people think of a small, slow-paced southern town. But if you really know Macon, you know it's a city split in two. One side built on history and heart, and the other side is still fighting heavy poverty, violence, and generational trauma. Located in Bibb County, Macon sits right in the middle of Georgia, not far from Atlanta. About an hour and some change away, but the difference in opportunity feels like night and day. Over the past few years, crime in Macon has risen dramatically. In 2024 alone, the county recorded more than 70 homicides, most involving young people under 25. And just like a lot of other smaller southern cities, Macon's biggest problem isn't just the violence itself, it's how fast retaliation spreads. One shooting turns into 2, then 3, then you having families left with no answers. But at the same time, it's also a city full of pride, music roots, church culture, and tight-knit families who've been there for generations. So when something like this happened, especially involving a young woman who once represented the best of her community, it hits home a little different. That's why this story grabbed the entire county's attention, because it wasn't just another case of senseless violence. It was a reminder that no matter how small the town, darkness can still find its way in. So now we got that foundation laid out, fam. Let's talk about what really happened that night, who the victims were, and how investigators believe the entire situation was part of a retaliation gone wrong. Fam, meet Rikimia Henley. She only 21 years old as of today. At first she went to Westside High School, but she found herself going off track until she transferred and decided to attend a school that wear uniform, more strict, and less distractions. And because of that, back in April of 2020, her mom went to Facebook and said the following: "I'm so proud of my baby, Rikimia Henley. Through all the pain and lost loved ones, the mishap at Westside, which almost cost her future, but God stepped in. My baby grieved, cried, and endured unimaginable pain, but she still remained humble, focused, and driven to be successful. This little girl gave up her fashion, wearing her own clothes to school, to be at a school that wears uniform and doesn't allow them to have their phone, to be at a school with less distractions and a better leader. I thought she would give up a long time ago because she loves her threads, but instead, she went harder, staying at school from 7 a.m. to 7 p.m., staying on her ish, going to twat-like tutoring, whatever it takes. Every time I go to her room, she's glued to that laptop on E2020, assuring her education and success. And okay, yes, for a teenager, that's considered a boring life, but I promise it's going to pay off. But today, I just want to say this beautiful...
People don't like that though. As a teenager, a lot of people won't sit there and grind day to day because it's boring. People don't want the boring life. They want a fun life every day, partying, want to make their day go be fun. Like, they want life to be fun. Life ain't fun, monkey dude. Unless you make it fun. You got to get to the point where you can make it fun. If you ain't on your shit, you won't make it. No, but that's besides the point.
Determined, headed, strong, spoiled brat of mine that I love her, and I'm so proud of her. She deserves every dime I spent on her, and her hard work is not going unnoticed. I see you, babe, and your priorities being in the right place at such a young age is awesome, but your hunger for success is absolutely breathtaking. The following year, May of 2021, she graduated, and her local news platform has shouted her out for graduating with honors from Northeast High School. It didn't go on to say she's the daughter of Corinthia Henley and the late Jesse Henley. And then that's when I found out more about the parents' relationship and how the dad had lost his life after doing research on him. And that's when I found out that Rikimia's mom had killed her dad in 2009 with the kitchen knife after coming home for stabbing a man in 1999 and doing 3 years. According to an article by the Macon Post back in 2009, it quoted that a woman who fatally stabbed her husband early Sunday morning had previously served 3 years in prison for stabbing a man in 1999, according to court records. Bibbs County Superior Court records show Corinthia Henley, then Corinthia Johnson, pled guilty November 29, 1999 to stabbing a man July 15.
Chocolate Dookie was the... Your ass was stabbing shit out, bro. Yo, you killed this girl dad though, bro?
1999. She was sentenced March 27, 2000 to serve 3 years in prison.
3 years?
7 years on probation, according.
Why do females, bro, why do they do that, bro? If that was a man that killed a female, I think would have got life or 30 plus years, but that's a female, she got 3 years in prison.
According to court records.
That's
she
wild.
Came home in 2003. By 2009, 6 years later, she was 30 years old, and she ended up stabbing 28-year-old Jesse Gerald Henley with a kitchen knife following an argument at around 5:45 a.m. It was Sunday, according to Macon police. A police report labeled the case as justifiable homicide. Corinthia Henley told officers her husband was beating her and pushed her face into a pan of grease warming on the stove when she reached for the knife. The police sergeant at the time said no charges had been filed in connection with Jesse Henley's death, and the police investigation expected to be ongoing for months but now it's considered closed.
That's different.
Ultimately,
Okay.
the case was transferred to Bibbs County District Attorney's Office, and they was the ones to determine if charges would be filed on that, and I guess they chose not to. But as you can see, Rakimia had it rough growing up, and if my math is correct, when her mom came home, the next year, she had her. And then 2 years later, she killed her dad. And since the age of 2, Rakimia has been living life without her father, only her mom. Now fast forward to 2025, just 4 years after graduating high school with honors, Rakimia is now wanted by Bibb County for not 1 or 2, but 3 homicides, 2 brothers and a young man. 2 guns was found at the scene, a handgun and a Draco. She back on August 18th, 2020.
A handgun in there. Yo, what the hell, bro? She ain't no ugly John, bro. She tweaking. She ain't ugly and she smart as hell. Come on, shorty. You can't be doing that, bro.
The scene, a handgun and a Draco. She back on August 18th, 2025. It was a Saturday night and a shooting had took place on East William Street in Macon. Had left 3 people dead. See, according to the sheriff's office, the first call to 911 came in at around 10:30 p.m. reporting a man had been shot on William Street. The victim was identified as 27-year-old Quantarius Townsend. He was taken to a local hospital where he was later pronounced deceased. May he rest in peace and love and condolences to his family. Roughly 30 minutes later, deputies responded to another call in the 500 block of William Street and found 2 more victims. Brandon Thomas, 21, Markel Boner Jr., 16, suffering from gunshot wounds. The Bibb County Sheriff's Office later pronounced them dead. May they both rest in peace and love and condolences to their families as well. As mentioned before, at least 50 shell casings were recovered as investigators processed the scene throughout the night. Bibb County's coroner, Leon Jones, said 2 weapons were recovered at the scene, an AK-47 rifle and a handgun. And for
That's
weeks,
crazy.
They had no suspect, and police was urging the authorities to come in with clues. But throughout the barbershops, the hair salons, the schools, people was already talking. They already knew what was up, but check this news clip out first.
Good evening and thanks for joining us. I'm Maggie Fitzgerald. New tonight, neighbors in East Macon described the moment they heard dozens of gunshots ring out Saturday night. Witnesses tell us the gunfire sounded like an automatic weapon. Some say they heard 2 separate rounds of shots about an hour apart. Hunter King shares more after speaking with people who lived.
So they was shooting Drake. Boy, it was crazy out. Boy, it's getting crazy out.
Nearby.
Neighbors here in East Macon off of William Street tell me that they are shocked, not by the shooting itself, but just the severity of it all. Investigators say dozens of shots rang out on Saturday night shooting that claimed the lives of 3 men. And here on Sunday afternoon, those same investigators are trying to figure out what led up to the shooting. The Bibb County Sheriff's Office identifies the victims as 27-year-old Quantarius Townsend, 21-year-old Brandon Thomas, and 16-year-old Markel Bonner Jr. Deputies responded to the 500 block of William Street just before 11 p.m. on Saturday night. Diane Jolly lives down the road, and she heard the gunfire.
I was in bed and I thought maybe it was some firecrackers or something because it said pow, 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 pow. And I'm like, what in the world? And then about an hour or so later, he did the same thing. Pow, 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 pow.
Jolly says the neighborhood was quiet when she moved here nearly 4 years ago. She described a different scene now.
It really is scary for me to be an older person, and it's like he kind of scary because them bullets ain't got no name, or they can come to anybody's apartment or anyone and shoot, hurt them. You know, it's sad.
Our crews first on the scene Saturday night counted at least 50 shell casings at the scene. Witnesses who spoke to us off camera say gang activity is frequent in the neighborhood. One witness tells us this shooting may be connected to a previous incident. The sheriff's office has not confirmed that link. Deputies found 2 victims dead at the scene. Townsend died at the hospital. We reached out to the sheriff's office for an interview, but they declined. Reporting in.
Damn, and it took weeks for them to find out that the lady, the one that was shooting, you know, that she had something to do with it. Took weeks. It's crazy.
East Macon, Hunter King, 13, WMAZ News.
The Sheriff's Office asks anyone with information to call 478-751-7500 or Macon Regional Crime Stoppers at 1-877-68-CRIME.
Now this Macon, Georgia. So that was the talk of the town for weeks. And weeks would go by, authorities would still have yet to make an arrest. But they started to get some tips. They later found out that the suspects was allegedly a part of a crew called EBK, who had ongoing feud with another group. who allegedly took matters into their own hands and shot up their neighborhood and was considered a drive-by. And this is how authorities will have a person of interest 5 weeks later for those 3 murders. It's been alleged and on social media that the crew who was into it with those group of young men, one of them was a boyfriend to Rakima. And the only reason authorities only know her so far because it's been alleged that it was her vehicle that was used. Even someone had went on social media and wrote this in the comments, indicating that her boyfriend was one of the ones who shot it up.
She set it up. Her black Honda was there. And her boyfriend was the shooter. Oh, that's why. They used her car to go on this drill, and her boyfriend was the one shooting. How dumb could you be to go on a drill with your girlfriend and get her into that? Knowing she was her car that she got in her name. Fool.
And allegedly, her car was used. But none of that has been confirmed. But it would make sense on why authorities will only have her as listed as a person of interest thus far. On top of that, people has been going around with this theory that she allegedly set these dudes up, but as of now, that's not the fact. And if that's proven and given out by local authorities or via court records, you know I'm gonna keep you guys updated. But nonetheless, Thursday, October 23rd, 2025, Bibbs County had put up a wanted poster for Rakimia Henley, saying she's 21, 5'6", weigh 135 pounds, brown hair, and black. They also indicated she had braces and tattoos along the right arm and thigh. Now, even though she won it in the court of law, she's innocent until proven guilty. You can only imagine what's going through her head right now. Not only her head, but her mother. You're talking about somebody who graduated with high honors 4 years prior, overcame obstacles in high school, made that transition, grew up without her dad since the age of 2 because he was killed by the hands of her mother. And now she wanted for 3 bodies. And some say she ain't pulled 1 trigger. It's a very unfortunate situation, but it goes to show you.
Yeah, I know, bro. When he told me what kind of guns it was, I knew she ain't pulled the trigger, bro. I just knew she didn't pull the trigger, bro. This is crazy, though, bro. Like, hey, man, so y'all be messing with and stuff, y'all, and go get y'all into something to be. Now you dang near about to lose the rest of your life by picking the wrong people to be around you, you know? Like, comment, subscribe, shorty. These are sad situations that we need to stay away from. Tap in. We out.